We are studying Angelology, the doctrine of angels. In our last class, we have discussed the time of creation of angels and the manner of creation of angels and the basic and general characteristics of angels. Today we will study the doctrine of good angels. The doctrine of good angels is more or less the same with the general teaching of the angels only. However, it will be good for us to know more about the good angels. By good angels, what we mean? The angels which do not rebel against God with Satan. Those angels who do not have a rebellious attitude with Satan against God are known as good angels. The number of good angels. It is very difficult for us to calculate the total number of good angels. We know angels are innumerable. We cannot count them. Countless. That means we can neither say billion, trillion, whatever may be. Only God knows the secret of those numbers. However, we can safely conclude from the Bible there are angels which we cannot count. Only God knows the numbers. After the fall also, after the fall means after the rebellion of angels under the headship of Satan, there are innumerable angels which are good, which have no part in rebellion against God. So, only God knows the exact number of good angels. Then the special classification of good angels. In the special classification of good angels, normally from the Bible, the scholars categorize 4 kinds of good angels. First one is archangel, second one is cherubim or cherubim, third one is seraphim, fourth one is heavenly host. So let us study each one. Archangel means they are the chief angels for having some specific job or specific goals. To meet those specific goals or specific jobs, God has appointed some angels, and one among those angels will be considered as chief angel, and the chief angel is called as archangel or archangels. In the Bible, we see 2 primary archangels. First one is Michael, which means who is like God. His name is mentioned in Jude chapter 9, and he appeared twice in Daniel also, and he will be again appearing in the last half of tribulation to fight against Satan. And some scholars believe at the time of rapture, there will be a voice heard and the voice would be probably the voice of Archangel Michael. So Michael was responsible for nation Israel. That means he is angel. Most of the time he is seen as fighting against the fallen angels which are fighting against the nation Israel. So some believe Michael is the chief angel to protect their nation Israel. The second archangel is Gabriel. That name means mighty one of God. Mighty one of God. In biblical passages, most of the time, the archangel Gabriel appears bringing good news to the people, or he interprets the messages. He announced the birth of Jesus Christ to Mary, the mother of Jesus, and he also announced it to Joseph. So the scholars consider Gabriel is the archangel for bringing God's message to the people. In Roman Catholic Bible, there are some other name given to some archangels. For example, Raphael. Raphael is considered an archangel. That name is not mentioned in our Bible. However, it is mentioned in apocryphal books. Then we'll come to the second category of good angels, that is cherubim, or sometimes some used to say cherubim. Cherubims are a specific group of angels. They guard the path of the tree of life. That means after the fall of Adam and Eve, God protected by sending cherubims so that Adam and Eve could not eat the fruit of tree of life. And these cherubims are often associated with Shekinah on the mercy seat. The Shekinah glory is dwelling upon the mercy seat at the tabernacle. So cherubims are associated with mercy seat at tabernacle. And cherubim are also closely related with the throne of Jehovah. And some scholars believe that cherubims are proclaimers of God's glorious presence and God's sovereignty and God's holiness. So they are associated with God's sovereignty, God's holiness, and God's presence. You have a note in your note, page number 4, Theology part 3. Let me read it for you. According to some theological scholars, the 4 living creatures of Ezekiel chapter 1 are cherubim. Probably these are the same living creatures of Revelation, Revelation chapter 4. The living creature of Revelation involved in worship and in executing the judgment of God during the tribulation. So, cherubims are associated with the worship and God holiness, and also they are used by God to execute the judgments at the time of the great tribulation. Then the third category is seraphim. The Hebrew term seraphim means burning ones, burning, as light or the fire burns, no? So light burning ones, which suggests the seraphims are fervent like fire in their devotion to God. When Isaiah saw the vision of throne of God, he saw the seraphims which are praising God, closing their eyes in front of God. So they are also associated with the throne of God in heaven. And the fourth category of good angels are known as heavenly hosts. The term heavenly host represents numerous good angels, probably with a lower angelic governmental order. That means they will work under archangels to finish the job that are assigned by God to them. God's army composed of angelic creatures, and these host of angels have various governmental orders. Their orders are thrones, dominions, rulers, principalities and powers. Ephesians chapter 3. So all these hosts are subcategory like thrones, dominions, rulers, principalities and powers. That means they may have some specific works related with the throne, principalities and such. And some of the good angels are called elect angels, which simply means good angels. That means when you read the Bible, if you see the term elect angels, you should understand it that they mention the good angels. That means elect angels is equal to good angels. Bible never say to the fallen angels with the term elect angels. So elect angels cannot be understood as fallen angels. They have to be understood as only good angels. Then the organization of good angels. That means how the good angels are organized. That means every good angel has some responsibilities. Their responsibilities may be varying from to the angels. That means one angel may have one responsibility, another angel may have another responsibility. However, all the angels will have certain responsibilities according to their position, such as archangel, cherubim or seraphim or the heavenly host. And all these good angels will serve the Lord under His command. The angels will not have or will not take any decision unless and until they are given such a responsibility. And when Christ was on the earth, the good angels were totally subject to Christ also. And some angels work mostly in the realm of man, while cherubim and seraphim work in the realm of God. That means seraphim and cherubims, they are closely associated with God and the duty belong to God. Whereas other angels may work for God, and at the same time, if God has assigned them some duty, they may work for human beings also. So these are things we have to understand regarding good angels. And one more list is there, the ministry of good angels. That means what are the ministry they do, or the responsibility, whether duty, responsibility or ministry, whatever may be the terms you can use, but generally what are the duties or ministry good angels do. If you go through the Bible, you will see lot of things. However, most important works are mentioned here in your notes. Let me read them for you. Angels worship God. That means all good angels will worship God. That is their primary responsibility, we can say. Then they obey the commandments of God. Whatever the commandment God gives them, they will obey. That is the reason they are also known as elect angels and good angels. A good angel will never in future rebel against God. And they help and deliver God's people from trouble. That means if any God children or God's people are in trouble, if they pray or God according to His will also send those angels to deliver His people from such troubles. Then certain angels bring God's message to man. God's message to man means in the biblical times. You have to be very careful because nowadays there are some people claim that they receive message from God through angels. It is questionable. There are various reasons, various theological reasons for that we may discuss in future. Only thing you have to understand now, angels brought direct message from God to godly men during the time of the Bible, both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, before the first century when the New Testament was being written. Once the writing is over, that means writing of God's message to church is over in the first century, the direct message from God through angels to men has been stopped. Then Gabriel interpreted vision to Daniel. Angels report to God. That means whatever they see in the earth or the duty they have completed, they will go and report to God. Archangel Michael took care of the body of Moses. Good angels announced the birth of Jesus and they protected Jesus at his childhood. They strengthened Jesus physically at the temptation and in Gethsemane. Angels sometimes punished ungodly. That means ungodly sinners. Angels opened the tomb and announced the resurrection of Christ. Then angels will accompany Jesus at his second coming. And good angels watch over the daily affairs of nations of the world. And angels care for God's people both testament period. That means though we are unable to see angels, God through his angels protect us. We have no doubt about that, because not only Bible says it, and we have to believe it also. Only thing we have to be careful, although angels protect us, they don't bring any message to us now. As the angel Gabriel brought message to Gabriel brought message to Joseph and Mary. That we have to be very careful. But although we could not see the angels visibly by our naked eyes, according to the Bible, the angels protect us. And the angels observe the activities of the local church, how the local church is functioning and how they worship, or they carry on the duties given by the church, given to the church by God to fulfill the plan of God to the present age, particularly announcing the salvation in God and in Christ. Those things will be observed by the angels and it will be reported to God. And good angel will fight against Satan, particularly under the leadership of Archangel Michael. And the angel will gather the unsaved at the end of the age for the final judgment. So these are the works will be carried down by the good angels. So we will stop here. We will continue our class in our next class. In our next class, we will be dealing with the teaching concerning Satan and evil angels. Today, we have studied only about the good angels and the classification of good angels, the organization of good angels, and the ministry of good angels.